I'm back. Yes, it's been a bit of a hiatus from YouTube for me this summer. I've got carried away photographing weddings, kind of earning money really that I have to do because this is my living. And I've not been doing that much landscape photography. I did loads of YouTube videos, as all my subscribers know, last winter. I was like dead into it. I was shooting them all the time, 2 a week. And I've sort of moved over to the wedding photography in the summer. As I do every year, I sort of switch from landscape to weddings. And this year's been a really good summer. I've had some great weddings, really enjoyed it. But now I'm back in landscaping mode. I thought, let's get the camera out, let's do some more videos. And where better place to start than my local place, which is Lytham Jetty. I think I did a video here last year, but the conditions weren't ideal. But really, I just wanted to get back into YouTubing. I wanted to get a video out there. And so I've decided the conditions are not great, but I'm going to go anyway. And I'm going to head out there this afternoon. But before I do, I'm going to show you a bit of planning that I do on the computer using tide tables to work out what's the right time to go to my local place. And we have to do a bit of planning sometimes in landscape photography. So I wanted to talk about that. And I wanted to just say hello to all my subscribers. And thanks for being patient with me. Hopefully this is going to be a good video, and it's going to be the first of a few now over the winter. I've got a few trips planned and different things, so I'm back. Okay, I'm on one of my favourite websites for planning landscape trips, and it's Tide Forecast. What it gives me is a graph telling me where the tide is currently at, what the high tide times are and the heights, all the information I need. So I've typed in Lytham, and it's given me the high tide was 12:38. It's now 1:38, well 1:37. So an hour after high tide, it's dropped by this much. But it's a fairly high tide at the moment. And what happens is, as the tide picks up, this speeds up, and the amount that the water recedes, sort of the rate of change increases. So this starts moving faster. I know that mid tide here is halfway up the graph. So that's going to be, if low tide is 650, talking about 340, 350 is going to be mid tide. And I know from experience that I want to be at the jetty at around 5.5 metres, maybe just a bit more, towards 6 metres. So if I go across, I look on the graph, I know I'm here at 350, sorry, this is 150, that's 350, halfway is going to be about 250, and I want to be just a bit after that. So if I get there at sort of 2:45, something like that time, it's going to allow me to set up, do a video, and then let the tide come into the perfect height, and I'll be good to go. So I just quickly wanted to show you how I use the tide tables to work out my times. And this is a very tricky location that you've got to be exactly correct about when you're there. Most places it's not such a big deal, but this just allows you to see sort of what you're doing before you get out there. So I'm going to pack my gear up and shoot off in the car. Well, as you can see, the planning's worked perfectly. The tide's going out now, so you can see these boards running into the sea. As the tide drops, it's going to reveal the platform at the end that the post is sat on. And the shot I want is the point when the water is exactly just sitting level with the platform at the end. So we get the platform on a long exposure surrounded by smooth water. And the sky's really, really nice at the moment. I've just tried an exposure of 30 seconds, f11. I'm shooting this on my tilt shift lens, so it's 24mm, so it's fairly wide. And there's a lovely, you could be able to see it in the picture there, there's a lovely bit of light in the centre of the frame. So it's like a natural vignette. I think it works really nicely. And even if I don't get the proper shot, I'm actually really happy with this one. Although you can't see the jetty at the end, it's just nice how it just blends away into nothing with the post sitting there. So I think I've got a good one here. We've got a little problem here. As you can see in this picture, the sun is kind of lighting a really bright patch in the sky there. That's just, these things happen in landscape photography, that's the joy of it. And I can't control that, it's too bright, I don't want that kind of contrast in my image. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to shoot this now in portrait format so that I can cut that side out. And the water, if you see it dipping now, it's just coming to the point where that platform is being revealed. So I'll have to act quickly, flip my camera around and quickly recompose. Right, the shot's not really worked because the sky's just too bright, it's too contrasty, it's not what I wanted. So I thought I'd show you the video footage. Instead of taking the photo, I've just taken a quick photo and it's okay. I prefer the earlier one. But look at these ripples now. The board is... that's what I wanted to do. There was a twig somewhere that I wanted to remove. Look at these boards being revealed now here. And we've got that lovely line in the composition. We've got these lines, but as this water drops now, it's just going to reveal these boards all shiny and wet, and they'll be reflecting whatever lights from the sky. Like I say, just a bit unlucky really with that highlight just appearing, but still really interesting for you to see that now. What's that over there? Save me using the clone stamp, you know. But I quite like it, how it's just going now. And what I'm going to do is, it's giving you a bit of a feel for what happens when the tide's right. So I'm quickly going to take a shot now and see if I can get one. I don't know. I've definitely got better shots from here, but I think the one I got earlier is really quite nice. That's probably the one I'm going to edit because I'm going to go back home now. I'm going to get Photoshop out on the computer and I'm going to show you how I post-process an image like this. Okay, I'm back at home and I've just had a quick flick through the images very quickly, and it's definitely the earlier image that I like. It's this one here. I'm going to open it with Photoshop. This is the first time I've opened it in Photoshop. I've not edited it or anything, so I'm going to do it exactly what I would do, so you can see. First thing I do is correct the chromatic aberration and enable lens profile, but because it's a tilt shift it doesn't have that, so you don't bother clicking that. Okay, right, I do like it. It's like I said in the video, it's got like a natural vignette to it. This light area here and the dark edge around it, I think it works. And do I like the composition quite right? Well, I'll think about cropping later on. For the time being, I'll just try and correct the slight... I'm just going to warm it a touch. No. I always generally pull my vibrance up just a touch and my saturation on this kind of image. I'm just going to go straight into curves, and I like to lift the left edge and apply a small contrast curve in that way. I want to add contrast to the centre and just pull my lights down just a touch there, because I like that kind of softness you get when you do that. I'll see if I want to just add a bit of contrast there, just by using the contrast slider, just a touch, 3. And dehaze, use very sparingly. No, I'm not going to add any to this. Maybe just 1, 2, because I can. And I think that's all I'm going to do in Camera Raw. Oh, I like to straighten it in Camera Raw. I just find the tool easier to use in Camera Raw than in Photoshop. And that's it. Open that up. I always duplicate straight away, and I don't like that boy being there. That's got to go. That didn't work. Not always that easy to do something like this, because there's a natural change in the water where it goes from sort of this single line to a double line where the buoy was. So what I would do here is I would take my clone stamp, set it to normal, put the opacity to say 20% there, and grab this and just lighten the transition here, and then grab this darker transition and send that across this way a bit, and I'm happy with that. I know I've got a dust spot up at the top. Can I find it? It's hard to find actually because it's not too... oh, there it is. Just that circle there. And I know about that, but I wouldn't get a centre cleaned when I've only got one dust spot on it. Apart from that, there's not that much to be done. Apart from probably turn it to black and white for me. So I'm going to put it back into camera raw. This is where I like to do my black and white conversions. So I just click black and white. Oh, definitely black and white. It's far, far stronger. I just instantly, I think it's a nice image in black and white. But then I go through to my colours. And I just have a play really. I'm just pulling the orange because I know this sky's got a bit more orange to it. To the right. Play with the blues. No, you see, when I pull that to the left, it's darkening this top corner and unbalancing the image, and I don't like that. I want it to be balanced. Go back into me curve. That's nice, that. I like that. Far, far stronger as a monochrome for me. Some would like it as colour, but I don't. And what I usually do, just in case, I'll duplicate that black and white image and I'll turn it to luminosity. Just see if it improves the colour, which it does a bit. So I would always keep that colour on there as a layer. But this is definitely a black and white. I'm just wondering about that building there. The background is Southport. You can see the Southport Bridge there. But I just find that a bit annoying, that one there. So I'll just get rid of it like that. Don't mind that one there. Yeah, that's not distracting enough. There's a couple of bits there that I can see them, but I don't mind because that is Southport. It was just that one larger building that I found annoying. And that's basically my edit. There's no more to it than that. I'm not a big fan of vignettes. If I wanted to vignette it even a bit further, what I would do is I would duplicate the image. I tend to do mine all in camera raw, and all I would do is I would just darken it. So I've got a layer on top that's slightly darker. I put a black mask on it, and I use a white brush, fairly soft, fairly large, and I would just gently paint the vignette in around the edge there. There we go. If I get black, that'll just delete it from the centre where I definitely don't want it. And then I can just flick it on and off. I like it, just not at the bottom, so I'm going to completely delete it from the bottom. I like just what it does at the top, but not as much as it's done it, so I'll just change the opacity and just add it in at, say, 50%, 51%, that'll do. Merge it down, and there's my image. Quite like it. I think it works well, and hopefully you've picked up a couple of tips in terms of editing, or just seen how I approach it. That's it, there's not a lot to it. So thanks for joining me today. As I've said a couple of times, glad to be back vlogging, and I look forward to bringing you more vlogs in the coming days or weeks. See you soon.